Okay, let's get strategic about search engine optimization, SEO. Now, when clients come to us and say, I want to rank for this word or that word, the situation is you have to look at how competitive the field is, what the competitors are doing, how many searches there are, and basically try to assess how hard is it going to be to rank, how much resources and therefore cost is it going to take to rank for any search term. And sometimes it can be just overwhelming. Now, if you're an electrician, for example, in Melbourne, and you want to rank for that term, obviously electrician Melbourne is the term that you would love to rank for. But you're up against probably 1,000 electricians. Some of them are doing SEO, some have been around for 10, 15 years, and the amount of resources and energies could be overwhelming. But we don't give up there. The best way to get value in SEO is to find niches. Search phrases that you can target that aren't the main one, but that get traffic. Now, if we're talking about an electrician in Melbourne, we might say, what other terms might people type for an electrician? They might type electrical contractor. Do we target that? They might type in cheap electrician, fast electrician, emergency electrician. They might not use Melbourne, they might use Melbourne Western Suburbs. They might say Collingwood or Richmond. And we're looking for all of these niches, commercial, residential, how can we bring this together? Now, the best value that you get in SEO is when you can target a big long term that still gets enough traffic. And I'm talking about things like emergency, commercial, electrician, Richmond and Collingwood. That's that sort of search. Because when people type those in, they're in the buying stage. We know that when people type in two-word phrases, electrician Melbourne, they're just looking, they're thinking, wonder who's out there and the likes. When they're typing in 4 words, 5 words or 6, they're at buying stage. Now, if we target a search term like that big long one, it won't have many searches. You're quite right if you're saying that. But if you rank for that search term, you'll rank for a whole lot of other ones related to it. Collingwood, commercial, electrician, emergency services, all variations. And if you can find a term and we can target one that gets 20, 30 searches a month and you're ranking really well for that, well, you're going to get some great calls that are leads that are ready to go. Now, I've been through this before. 5 years ago, I was asked to rank a restaurant in Sydney for Restaurants Sydney. And the situation was the competition was just fierce. As you can imagine, there are thousands of restaurants. They've been around for 10 years and the likes. And my feeling on it was that it was just going to take the resources of 10 people 2 years. It was substantial. So we looked for niches. We went down the road of foods they cook, locations and the likes, and we uncovered a niche. Best Restaurant Sydney was underdone. No one was targeting at the time. So we went very hard on that term. And it took a long time. It took 4 or 5 months to get them. And then one day they ranked at #1. We woke up one morning and they ranked at #1 for Best Restaurants Sydney. Now, do you want to know what difference that made to their business? They were getting 1,000 searches to their site beforehand. All of a sudden, it jumped to 11,000 a month. And those extra 10,000 people were all people who were typing in Best Restaurant Sydney. What's the best restaurant in Sydney? I want to take my mum out. I want to take my friends from overseas. And their business went through the roof. Now, that's not something you can promise with any SEO campaign, but if you get smart about it and look for the niches and look for the opportunities based on consumer intent, and it matches your business and it's profitable, you can go a long way by thinking just that bit more strategically about what you're trying to achieve.